Let's talk about traumas and insecurities, and let's talk about why they matter and if they ruin your life today. Now, I personally have an opinion that most of the people today have faced trauma in at some point of their lives, and most people have some insecurities that maybe they're not even aware of. Like it might not be something cliche like I have a big nose, I have a pimple on my face, or something like that. But it might be something a little more, something in you, something that you're not aware of. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about and how I came across this topic. So what happened was last year, this is last year, right? Last year I got into college. Like before this, I was in high school, and I had a lot of friends in high school, and my high school was a pretty, pretty small. Like I had only like 8, 9 people in my class. Like it was not a place that you can go and socialize as much as you want. It's like a few homies there, and that's about it. So what happened was I come into college, and like bro, it's like 2,000 people in the college. Like I don't know how to deal with these people. I don't have a background which supports social environments, and everybody's talking about how they got their shit together. Everybody is talking about universities. Everybody's talking about this. Like I felt left out. Like you can probably imagine how shitty I felt. Like that was a pretty fucking it was a pretty miserable time for me. Like I felt left out, I felt like alone, I felt like nobody got me, I felt alien. And I know that basically, like now I'm in the in the senior year. I can look at the people that were I can look at the freshmen, and I can tell that most of them are going through exactly what I went through. So I know that many of you guys can relate to this. But as I was saying, that those years of my first year of college, the first few months were completely, they were ass, bro. They were miserable. Like I don't know, I used to go to college, and when I came back, I had no energy because I fucking woke up at 6 a.m. So then I basically used to scroll for the rest of the day. That's it. That's really it. So I think I joined the college in August, and this is about November. So like you can imagine, the first few months I fucking did nothing. I basically accepted this identity of a loser. Now in November, I would say in late November, I started to I wanted to I wanted to change. I didn't want to live this shitty life no more. I wanted to do something. I wanted to make friends. I wanted to improve my life. So what I did was I started to binge watch self improvement content. I started to those self help videos. I read ideas, Carl Jung, everything. I consumed a lot of content around these topics, and I continue to do so. I would say until this year. I would say until April. Yes. Until April, I pretty much like I don't know how many months is that? For 6 months. So for 6 months, my biggest goal in life was to get over this, get over my insecurities, and get over my traumas, because that's basically what it was, right? An insecurity, and unprocessed trauma that I wasn't even aware of, that was affecting how I behaved at college, right? So I started to journal. I started to write things down. I started to self-reflect. I started to I started going at it. I started to journal the same things over and over again. Really dug in myself and like tried to find my all my roots. Wrote down all my experiences, wrote down all my beliefs, wrote down all my ideas, wrote down all my patterns, everything you can imagine. And it took me a good 6 months to I would say I had a pretty strong self of self awareness, and I had I was I would say that by this time I was like I knew a lot about myself, I would say. And I came to find out that the reason I was behaving like that at college, like that, that misfit slash introverted slash social autistic behavior that I had, was was on a major part due to the way I was raised, and I would I would get into that. Now I am an introvert at college who cannot talk to people, who struggles with social anxiety basically, right? So I am a kid at college who struggles with social anxiety. How can that be related to childhood and maybe the traumas I face and maybe the insecurities I have? Well, I was raised in a pretty fucking uncertain household environment. Like I had family members always fighting and shit, all like all that. You probably relate to this if you're watching this. So that basically that um I don't even know how to put this into words, bro. Like growing up in that kind of household, it basically it does affect you a lot. Like you start to see the world differently. I grew up I was raised in a school where the teachers were assholes, and they would fucking they would. I literally remember this one teacher. I was around 5 years old, 6 years old during this time, and I literally remember that this one teacher fucking grabbed my ear and pulled it really fucking hard, just because I don't know. I I don't even remember what it was. It was probably some dumb shit like I didn't do my homework or some shit like that. But yeah, that's the shit that I went through as a child. So yeah, so all this all this behavior, all these things, they accumulated, and I wasn't aware of them until last year, until like I finally did work on it. But they continue to like there were a lot of nuances onto me when I was at college. It wasn't just that I was socially anxious. It was that I needed validation to feel good about myself, because I didn't feel good about myself at home when I was growing up. It was that I did not feel comfortable with people because I did not trust people enough to show my vulnerable side. And that's one of the things that was also there. And the other thing was that I had no experience in college. So obviously, like when you don't have experience in something, obviously you're not going to excel at it. And, you know, I have never been used to talking to people because I don't find people that interesting. That's probably it had a lot of nuances, but that's probably the reason why I I'm kind of chill about it now, because I think that these people, the people at college, the teenagers, they're not. How do I say this? Like they're not really the type of people that I would want to be friends with. Like in college, you basically just talk to these people, say hi, hello, how was today, how was this, XYZ, just fucking go home, right? And then nothing after that. So that's not the kind of relationship I'm built for. Now, yes, no disrespect to them, they can fucking do whatever they want, but yeah, and they're teenagers, right? So you can't blame them. Like they're not some academic philosophers, they're teenagers, right? So this is fucking whatever. But I'm not, I don't want to spend my time like that. I want a relationship which is high value, high, it brings me benefits. It gives me value, it gives them value, like it benefits the both of us. So that was the kind of relationship that I so wanted. But like you're not gonna find that in a fucking college, right? It's just common sense. So like I was saying, that it had a lot of nuances on it, a lot of nuances, and it had a lot of details, and it had a lot of connections to my past, and like it had like you needed to have a really good self awareness to get a good grip of what was going on and why I was acting like this and why was my life so miserable. But getting back to the topic of this video, that's like that's just a simple, relatable, I hope, example on how insecurities and trauma and unprocessed trauma and maybe childhood trauma, they can affect your life later on. Because what happens is they if you go through childhood trauma, let's say I don't know, you faced abuse at home, your dad used to beat you, some unfortunately some people face stuff like this. let's say you do, and let's say you do face something like that in your house. That's not just gonna be like a one and done thing, right? It's not gonna be like that's over with now, let's just get over with. No, it's gonna be like, it's gonna stay with you, it's gonna stick in your mind, it's gonna go into your subconscious and maybe plant beliefs around your head about around certain situations. So the next time you probably now if you now how that would childhood trauma, the man, what am I saying? Now, how the concept of how childhood trauma affects your life later on, how that would apply to this situation where your dad beat you, is that now that you're a grown up, that you're 20, that you're 25, that you're a mature adult, now you go around your dad and you just feel uncomfortable for some reason. Like, that's maybe how it would kind of affect you. Or maybe you just don't like being around people because they would think they would hurt you. I can relate. One other example I would like to give on this, in on this topic of how childhood trauma maybe can develop into insecurities and shit later, is like how you know if, like, for example, if you're screaming and yelling in class and maybe having fun with your friends at school as a child, and maybe your teacher or somebody or or an adult just scolds you not to, or just says, go back and sit go back and sit in your seat, or don't do this, or don't make some noise. Now, to her it may look like an act of disciplining you, but to you it might look like a threat, or that your safety is being your safety is threatened, or that you are in an unsafe environment. That's what it might mean to you as a child. So what might happen is that you grow up to have social anxiety because you don't feel safe in certain environments. That's just how it is, right? So, like, that's what I'm trying to say, that childhood trauma and the events that you face at childhood greatly impact how you become for the rest of your life, because they implant beliefs in your head around things, right? Let's say you grew up in a house where everybody said that money was a bad thing. Now you're gonna grow up. Let's say you work a job. Let's say you make some money. You're just gonna blow that money off on random shit, and you don't even know why. The reason why is because you have this belief planted in your head that money is bad, but you're literally not even aware of it because you have not even done the work to do so. So that's basically what I'm trying to get at, that if you don't understand how your beliefs work, how you if you don't have a good self awareness and emotional intelligence, then bro, you're gonna be run by your beliefs, run by your traumas, run by subconscious. You're gonna go through life through the motions. Dang. You're gonna go through the life, you're just gonna float through it. The wind can blow you anywhere, and by wind I mean your subconscious. Because if you have not conquered your mind, if you have not conquered your beliefs, your subconscious mind, then they affect everything you do. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you just try to do something, sometimes you just try to do some good habits, and you just fall back right into your bad habits? That's because your subconscious mind is at play here. That you have some beliefs that you have not sorted out yet. That's what's going on. It's not a matter of discipline. It's not a matter of grinding 3 a.m. motivation David Gong. It's none of that. The simple thing is that you have some beliefs around the habit that you're doing, or maybe around something else that are affecting the habit directly, and you are just not aware of that belief, and that's why you just keep falling back into your baseline every time you try to do it. So that's the main takeaway from this video, that if that your childhood trauma and greatly, like, bro, like our childhood is basically the time period where we are growing, right? By definition, that means that the most growth that we'll ever have in our life would be during our childhood, because after that we're adults, we learn, we experience, we work jobs, yes, fine, fucking whatever. But during our childhood, like, we are naive, we are unexperienced, we don't know anything about the real world. We are growing, so anything that happens during our childhood greatly impacts how we live our lives, because it implants beliefs. It maybe implants a sense of identity into you. It implants maybe some insecurities into you. Maybe you go through something through it, it's gonna be impactful heavily. And for most people, unfortunately, they live their life based on how their childhood was. So these people, they grew up to be miserable people. They take drugs, and they're addicts, but they don't know anything about it, because they're not that self-aware enough to realize what's going on and why they have these addictions, and XYZ. So what am I trying to get at? I'm just trying to say that you should do the work. You should be self-aware. You should have emotional intelligence. You should journal. You should understand how your childhood was. You should understand how your childhood affects today. You should understand the patterns that revolve around that your life revolves around. You should understand yourself. You should have a good understanding of who you are. That's the only way that you can deal with this. If you're completely new to this, I have made a free guide. It's free, so you don't even have to pay me, right? I don't know. It's a small guide. It's basically a starter's guide. It's not going to give you everything, but it's just a basic guide on this topic: insecurities and trauma. I'll link it down in the description below. You can just go check it out. I think it would be massively beneficial for anybody who has nothing, no prior knowledge, and I think it's a good starting point for you if you fall into that category. So yes, I would link it down in the description below. Just go ahead and check it out. I have one other guide on confidence. How you can start to learn to be confident. It's also in link down in the description below, so you can just go check it out. And yeah, that's basically it for this video.